Thank you, Acting Deputy President. I rise to speak in support of the Workplace Gender Equality Amendment, Closing the Gender Pay Gap Bill 2023. As we have heard, this is a significant step forward in advancing gender equality in Australian workplaces. This legislation will be instrumental in ensuring that the gender pay gap will continue to close through employer action, greater transparency and accountability, and progressing gender equality in the workplace. Within our government's term, we've already seen the gap decrease. This is certainly attributable to Minister Gallagher's advocacy in bolstering Australian women's economic empowerment. I would like to commend Minister Gallagher on her incredible dedication and work in introducing the Workplace Gender Equality Amendment Bill 2023 to help close the very real gender pay gap in our country. I also believe the historic representation of women in our government has made a considerable difference in how this government is approaching public policy. You can't replace lived experience, and Australian women can rest assured their experiences and needs are being considered now more than ever. This bill will see employees with 100 or more workers publicly publish data on gender pay gaps on the Workplace Gender Equality Agency website. Red tape for businesses will be reduced, so this will be easier for companies to do. This is a key reform to drive transparency and action towards closing the gender pay gap. Data collection and publication of these statistics is so important in furthering our knowledge of gender pay gaps progression. From international experience, we know that publishing employer-level gender pay gap data can drive organisations to take action on closing the gender pay gap. Having more clarity on a problem will mean we can build and design better policy and programmatic solutions. And it means we can track our progress and best direct future efforts to closing the gender pay gap once and for all. On our current trajectory, it will take roughly 26 years to close the gender pay gap. Recently, the United Nations announced that at the current rate of progress, it will take almost 300 years to achieve gender equality worldwide. Currently, and you may have seen the recent statistics, in Australia, women earn 87 cents in every dollar that men earn. You may also have seen the figure that working women who work full-time earn $253.50 less than men every single week. In Australia, women earn 87 cents for every dollar that men earn. Full-time working women also earn $253.50 less than men every single week. There is no justifiable reason for this, no rationale as to why this is the case, except to say that women's contributions are severely undervalued alongside their male counterparts in the workplaces across Australia. It's certainly not about our skills or our capability. It is about systemic barriers. We shouldn't have to wait 3 decades to achieve pay parity. Through these reforms, we're taking serious action to speed up the processes and close the gender pay gap. For First Nations women, women of colour, women with disabilities, LGBTQIA+ women, migrant and refugee women and women from all culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds, there is a gap within the gender pay gap. For First Nations women, the gender pay gap compared to non-Aboriginal men is a mammoth 32.7%, more than double the statistic we so often hear. The gap between First Nations women and non-Aboriginal women is roughly around 19.7%. Currently, these statistics aren't readily available. The new reporting requirements we are discussing here today will go a significant way towards remedying this lack of information. As I've said, we will be able to develop stronger and more effective solutions to these disparities when we understand the problem properly. We must place front and centre the experiences of black women and women of colour in all that we do. We have a collective responsibility to leave no woman behind. Not only do we need to ensure there is understanding, but that First Nations women and women of colour are given the tools and opportunities to maintain a seat at the table and make decisions on an equal playing field. The gender pay gap is not just a conversation. It has real and often life-altering implications for women. It can be the difference in our career choices, influence our decision to have a family, and our financial futures and ability to retire. And for First Nations women and women of colour, these decisions become even more profound. We are so fortunate to live in a nation home to many culturally and linguistically diverse women, and what a wonderful thing that is. We are much better for it. Our government is committed to ensuring that women have economic autonomy and opportunity, and we continue to close the gender pay gap for all Australian women.
Thank you, Senator Stewart.